Welcome to the body scan. The body scan is a formal mindfulness practice, which is a very powerful exercise for cultivating mindfulness. The body is a field of awareness. The body scan is a space for you to explore your present moment experience as it unfolds. Deliberately taking time out of your schedule to check in with yourself can be very worthwhile. Find a suitable space for yourself where you won't be disturbed. This exercise is practiced ideally lying down, but can also be practiced in a seated position or even standing. A more upright position can be beneficial, especially if you feel tired. The aim of the practice is to listen to the messages the body is sending. Although slowing down can be relaxing, the real intention here is to be awake, alert, and curious about what's been presented in each moment. If seated, placing the feet on the floor can be very grounding, keeping the spine straight. If lying down, keeping the legs slightly apart and the arms by your sides, maybe palms facing upwards or on the belly maybe. And choosing whether to keep the eyes open or closed. Remember that you can open the eyes at any point if you start to feel sleepy. It might also be useful to set your intention for this time out. Often stepping away from commitments will only be of benefit to you rather than others. We're so unused to slowing down or pausing in our day. During the practice, you may experience flavors of annoyance, frustration, boredom, or an urge to do something important. And this is a perfect opportunity to note those feelings and to come back to the practice. When we slow down, we can be challenged accepting what is here and accepting how things are if they're unwanted. This is a very human experience, wanting things to be different. So just noticing that and following the guidance. So settling into whatever posture you've adopted. Noticing that you're breathing and that you have a body. Scanning where this breathing is evident for you. Breathing in, breathing out. Registering the air around you. Distinguishing parts of the body in contact with clothing or blankets. from those in direct contact with the air. At any point during the body scan, if a body part is calling for your attention, knowing that you can drop below this guidance to follow your own needs. And you can come back to the anchor of the breath, or the hands, or the feet at any time to stabilize your attention. So to begin with, inviting you to check in with the left leg, drawing your attention down the left leg and into the left foot and to the toes on the left foot. What sort of sensations, if any, are showing up in the toes of the left foot? Is there any sense of temperature, blood flow, tingling, numbness? Without moving the toes or picturing the toes in the mind's eye, experiencing what is like having these toes. Exploring whether you feel the toes touching. And shifting the focus to the left foot itself, the heel, the sole of the foot, the ball of the foot. Do you get a sense of the skin on the bottom of the foot, or of the many small bones inside? Interconnected. And regarding the top of the foot now, feeling into this whole area. Is there a sense of muscle or blood flow, or of the thinner, delicate skin on top of the foot? Releasing the focus of the foot now and continuing up to the ankle. Being curious about this ankle joint and how it is presently. Does the ankle feel tight or loose? Traveling upwards from the foot to the lower leg, comprising of the shin and the calf. How does the shin differ in experience from the fleshy calf? Do you get a sense of the shin bone inside? And coming up to the left knee and the kneecap and the soft back of the knee. How is the knee, and what sensations are arising here? At this point, notice if your attention has drifted. Perhaps you're entangled in a storyline or a to-do list. If that's the case, gently letting that go. The mind will naturally wander. And bringing the attention back to the left knee. And continuing, moving up to the left thigh and channeling your focus here. Do you get a sense of the large thigh muscle and the fleshiness of the thigh? Letting this be center stage. Maybe you don't feel much here at all. Taking the whole thigh into awareness from its point of connection to the knee, up to the integration at the hip. What's unfolding here in the thigh? Continuing onwards, letting go focus of the left leg altogether and bringing the attention across the pelvis, down the right leg and into the toes of the right foot. How is the present experience of having toes on the right foot? As if for the first time, opening up to sensations of the toes and where the toes are touching. Examining toe temperature, being hot or cold or neither. Being curious about activity in the toes. And moving this exploration along to the sole of the right foot, the heel, the ball of the right foot. What activity presents itself here in the foot? Perhaps nothing's noticeable right now. Scanning the top of the foot with awareness. How does the right foot feel? Perhaps you don't feel much here at all, and just noting that. Letting go of spotlighting the right foot and moving the attention to the right ankle. What's your sense of this joint at the moment? Is there any activity here? Moving along to the lower leg. Bringing the focus back to the body scan whenever the mind wanders, as it will. Sensing into the calf and the shin now in the right leg. Perhaps getting a sense that the calf is fleshier than the shin. Sensing into the long shin bone, registering any sensations there. And bringing curiosity about the right knee. Such an important joint. What's showing up here? Is there any experience of tingling, heat, or pain here right now? If so, noting that and letting it be. And moving on to the right thigh. registering the area of the thigh compared to the lower leg and noticing sensations in the right thigh. And feeling into the right leg as a whole for a moment now. In being still like this, you may be registering feelings of irritation or boredom. We can be so used to doing and rushing. Allowing feelings to show up, whatever feelings show up, it's all welcome. And consider this part of the practice. And redirecting back to this exploration of now. Being curious about presentations in the body of whatever is here. Now letting the focus move off the right leg and onto the hips and the pelvis area. Checking in with what's happening here. Sensing into the bony hips and how they attach to the legs within the hip joint. Giving this area of the body some care and attention. And inclining your curiosity now up the torso towards the stomach area, the belly button, the rib cage, and towards any energy showing up here in the torso. Such a common area for worry and anxiety to sit in. As best you can, letting what is already here be here. No need to change anything. Giving what's here some space. And perhaps just feeling into the breath here for a moment or two. And moving up the torso to the upper chest, where the heart's contained. Allowing a sense of interest to arise in the heart space. Investigating the physical experience of the beating heart, or the air exchange happening in the lungs for a few moments. Feeling into any expansion with the in-breath in the upper chest, or the release of the body on the out-breath. Resting your attention for a moment or two on the whole torso breathing. And taking in the spine and the vertebrae. Are the individual vertebrae detectable? So leaving the torso now and moving to the shoulders and the arms, bringing these into your awareness. Feeling any activity within the arms. Such an active part of the body generally. Feeling into the elbows and the elbow joints. How do they feel compared to the upper arm or the more bony lower arm? And bringing your attention to the hands. Maybe one of the most used areas in the body, but perhaps not getting much of our deliberate attention. So basking these hands in care for a moment. These sensitive hands that connect us with other people. Holding some space for the hands. Sensing into the palms and the small bones in the fingers. Distinguishing the fingernails from the tips of the fingers, if that's possible. How do they differ in sensation? What about blood flow in the arms and into the hands? Is there an inkling of blood flow here? Inevitably, the mind might have been brought off on a storyline. So if that's happened, just escorting the focus back to the body. No need for judgment. And now gently moving the attention to the neck. This neck that houses our airway giving us life, and our voice box to communicate with others. Honoring the neck for a moment by letting it be center stage for a breath or two. And moving up into the head, settling the focus on the scalp, the forehead, the face, the jaw, the chin. How's this head right now? Are there any sensations in the temples? Is there a sense of any hair follicles on the crown of the head? Resting the attention here on the crown momentarily. How about the jawbone? Is there any tightness in the jaw? Do both sides feel similar, or do they differ? How are the eyeballs and eye sockets? Is there a sense of any tiredness or strain here? with so much of life spent on screens and so little downtime for the eyes from our waking moment. Taking a few moments to incline the breath into the eyeballs or the eye sockets, giving them some care. Allowing tension to release here, if that's possible. Feeling into the cheekbones, the bony nose, the lips and the fleshy cheeks. And regarding the tongue that is so key in Chinese medicine for reflecting the state of our internal organs. What, if anything, is showing up here today in the tongue? Can you detect saliva in the mouth? The rest and digest state tends to increase saliva production in the mouth. Stress can leave the mouth feeling dry. And expanding out the focus and feeling into the head as a whole now. Breathing into the head for a moment. And now in this last few minutes of the body scan, widening the awareness further again to incorporate the whole body, from the tips of the toes to the crown of the head. Taking in the skin surface covering the whole body. Feeling into the skeleton within the body. This whole human body in which all our experiences arise. This body as a field of awareness. Breathing into the whole body. Breathing in, breathing out. A sense of expansion and release. In your own time, gently opening the eyes if they've been closed. Reorientating yourself in the space you're occupying. Maybe checking in visually with any colours around you in the room. Checking into the temperature of the space you're in, or listening for any sounds inside or outside. Starting to reintegrate back into your surroundings. To conclude, before the ringing of the bell, perhaps placing your hands together or on the heart space just to acknowledge that you've taken time out for yourself today, for your well-being, to practice the art of presence.